It's that time again. It's that time. Yay. Welcome to the show, guys. Welcome to Sidejag. Tonight we're going to talk about the movie Dune and whatever else comes to our minds. This is Dune Part 2, as if we were not surprised after Dune Part 1 that Dune Part 2 could possibly suck just as bad as Part 1. We'll find out tonight. And it's not that it was bad. It's just it was bad. In a way that, like, it was good, but kind of bad, So that was part 1. We'll talk about part 2 tonight. But before we get into that, how are you doing, my friend?
Boy, have I got a story to tell you.
Thank God. Tell me.
I got a story. Hot Springs.
Yeah.
We went to Hot Springs. Hot Springs is awesome.
I saw some pictures.
So we go up Saturday night, grill steaks, play some spades, play some dominoes.
Yep.
Play some beer pong with water. So that's the way we do it.
Yeah. Beer pong with water.
Water in the cups,
Everyone's got to pee.
But
when a pee loses.
we have the girls are going to go shopping Saturday. All the guys are going to go play golf.
Yep.
So that's the plan. We're out, beautiful golf course. Really, probably one of the coolest viewed, like the views that you get from the tee box, the golf course I've ever been to. It was awesome.
Very nice.
There was like 100-foot drop off the first tee. Anyways, we go through that. We're playing pretty good. We have 3 newer golfers with us, but me and my buddy Jason are playing pretty well. So we're keeping it moving, having a really good time. I get a phone call from Hot Springs. I'm like, I don't know hardly anybody from Hot Springs. It's not already in my phone contacts.
Correct.
So I pick it up. The property owner, like, hey, when you guys think you'll have your stuff out? Now, mind you, this is like 10 o'clock. So I think checkout time's technically not till 11 or 12. But my whole plan was to stay there 2 days. So I'm like, yeah, I have I rented the property for 2 days. And the lady was really nice. She's like, I only have you down for 1. And I said, well, can I call you right back? I'll check the reservation. Pull up and here the backstory to it that makes me think that I did pay for 2 days is the place was $220 a night, and the total bill is around $600. So I'm thinking, okay, cleaning fees, property fees, or whatever. So $440 plus 160 or whatever.
Yeah,
sounds about right. Why check? She was correct. I, for whatever reason, bungled this whole thing and only reserved it for 1 night. And they had 2 $175 fees in there that just bamboozled me. At the end of the day, it's my fault. Like, I did it. I didn't put both days in correctly.
Right.
So immediately, we're at the golf course, which is like 45 minutes away from the place. I call Cassie, her birthday trip, mind you. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? We're waiting to eat. I was like, you guys have to leave there right now and get our shit out of the VRBO. And she's like, and then I should have known. I should have delivered this message better, because one thing Cassie doesn't like is change.
Yeah.
So as long as everything's in an arrow and the way you need to go, everything's fine. But once I threw that in there, instant freak out. We only have 2 cars. And I was like, hey, just get our shit out of the house. If you got to sit in the front yard, we'll be there. But I know in my mind, we have all the golf bags. That's the majority of the things that are taking up space. All you guys have to do is put the clothes in there, the freaking cornhole tables, and the beer pong table. And you have 2 cars. Like, I know they can do it.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm like, all right, and I'm trying to find another hotel. And everyone's like, well, we're probably just going to leave today anyways. I'm like, all right, well, I'm not going to get a hotel then for everybody.
Okay.
And so I just decided, like, all right, me and my other buddy were like, listen, you guys finish out. So we had 5 people. You 3 finish out. We'll go handle this.
Yeah.
By the time we got there, they were already pulling out. They already got all the stuff out, and they were on the road. So I was like, listen, I messed up. My fault. Like, let's go have lunch. I'll buy everybody lunch. Or
okay. Yeah.
Like, well, we want steak, whatever. Like, hey, order whatever you guys want. I don't care.
Right.
as long as we talk about car audio, so I can put on the business card, it's all good. Which we did talk about car audio. Oh no,
Dude, the
shame
one
or
positive.
shame.
Yeah.
But anyways, so pretty much everyone left except for my niece and her boyfriend Jason. We got a spot at the Oaklawn, a really nice track casino place. We got a really nice room with tablet controlled. I've never been in a room like that.
Wow.
So we ended up having a wonderful time. We ate at a Mexican restaurant right on the water. They were doing fireworks that Sunday.
Oh, very cool
spot to see the fireworks. So we had a wonderful time despite the early disaster. But
so they charge you $600 for one night?
For one night.
What the hell? Like,
dude, that I was like, oh my, because when I seen the price, I was like, oh, okay, that's 2 nights at $220 plus the fees.
Yeah.
I was like, that makes sense.
There was $400 worth of fees or $380 worth of fees?
Yeah, there was 2 $175 fees and then a tax.
What the hell were the fees for?
One of them was a host fee, one of them was a service fee. So I assume one's cleaning, one's some random host fee. So I got hosed, dude. I got hosed so bad. But at that point, like I was not even thinking about that until afterwards, and I was like, Jesus Christ, man! Like $600 for one night.
Yeah, I mean that's I mean I get it, but shit, wow, that was crazy.
They got me, Baba. They got me good.
Man, that's ridiculous. Well, I can tell you our experience the weekend was nothing like that. We drove out to Orlando Saturday night. Orlando or at downtown now they have this drone show. And Sue was like, "Can we go to the drone show?" And I was like, "I mean, I don't see why not." And then we were talking about it, so it appeared on my phone magically. And I was like, "Holy shit!" Like thousands of people packed in there like this, watching this drone show for 5 minutes. And I'm like, "That looks terrible." And I said to Haley, I said, "Dude, did you see any of the videos on the drone show?" I go, "Yeah." I said, pardon me, your mom wants to do that. She goes, "Really?" And I go, "Yeah." She goes, "I don't want to do that." I said, I don't want to do that either. That looks like that's way too many people, way too close to me that I don't really want to be part of. I'm like, it just looks like a disaster. And so I said, "Send her one of the videos." So she sent her one of the videos. She goes, "We're not going to that." And I go, "Yeah, no shit." It was fucking horrible. And of course, it was 98 degrees. So that was fantastic. So very hot. Magic Kingdom was empty, though. There was nobody at Magic Kingdom. It was freaking awesome. We went on everything, which we very rarely do. And then we took naps.
That's why I need to go to Magic Kingdom with you guys so you can be like, look, this is the plan. This is how we're navigating this.
Yeah. Because I don't know. Everyone that weekend was either at Hollywood Studios or Epcot.
Yeah.
They weren't at Magic Kingdom. So it was fabulous. We went to, so we stayed. We got there. We had lunch at like 1:30. So we got there about noon. And then we stayed till about 9, which is like really long for us. We typically don't stay that long. But we could still, like, the lines weren't that long. It was like, well, let's go on Space Mountain or let's go do this or, so that was a good day. And then the next day we got up and went to Epcot because it was the last day of Flower and Garden. I hadn't been there, so we walked around, ate some of the food. I think we were only there for like 2 or 3 hours, and I was like, "All right, let's go." And Haley's like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Let's get out of here. It's freaking hot," So it was like awesome. We didn't go. I mean, literally, all we did was walk around, have lunch, and walk right out the door. It's like, okay, works for me.
Yeah, we had, I think you're a French toast guy, aren't you?
Yeah, who doesn't like French toast?
Well, psychos don't like French toast.
I know.
But we had at the Oaklawn, it was like a quick service restaurant. Even wasn't even one of their nice ones. I had some of the best French toast I ever had in my life at that place.
So Disney, on some of the cruises, and it's usually only on the longer cruises, they make the little tiny little tiny Mickey waffles, but
Yeah.
they make churro Mickey waffles. They are like, holy shit. They are the most amazing thing you've ever eaten. It's like a French toast, cinnamon, sugar, like amazing thing. And it's like the last cruise we went on, we're walking around to get breakfast, and Haley goes, "What the heck was that?" She goes, "Dude, I could have swore I just saw the little Mickey French toast things." And I go, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah." So we immediately walked around and walked around. Sure enough, there was one little tray of them in the back. And we're like, boom, man, we hammered that thing. Like, and it's so good. I was like, these things are amazing. She's like, I can't believe they have them on this. Like, they don't normally do them on these 2-day trips. And I was like, well, we got lucky.
Got lucky, hit it. Yeah.
Yeah. But okay, so with that being said, all right, what did you think of Dune 2? Because clearly Jester is committed to the show, and I agree with Pablo. I think they covered some of these much better in the older 1984 version
Yeah.
that we got in this. For I don't, after watching the 1984 version, I didn't read the books, but I had enough people proudly tell me about the books to know that like all the cool things that we were waiting to happen for in this never actually happened. And I was like, well, this was
they're
good.
setting up for a part 3 for sure.
Yeah, but I don't care at this point because it's I thought it was stupid. I gotta be honest with you. I thought the 84 version that was like everyone hated
Yeah.
was way better than this. I mean, this was just overacting. Like, who gives a shit? Like, we get it. Everyone's pissed. Yeah, exactly. And it's cool, man. And it's an awesome saga. I mean, if you look at it, this is the precursor to Game of Thrones. Like,
Yeah.
I feel Dune is the original Game of Thrones. It's like that's probably where some of the inspiration came.
I said that. I said that very thing to Cassie. Now, let me say the first Dune I enjoyed, but we got duned at the end.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right. The second Dune, I actually really like this Dune.
Okay.
I had a good time outside of I didn't look anything up because I wanted to see if I could figure out the story myself. So I just had to look inside myself, like, okay, what are they trying to do? What's the spice? Is Paul actually going to be a bad guy? We don't know yet. From what it seems like he could be, but it's like in the spice, the Reverend Mother, his mom, with the stuff, and it like all this is it's just so much that a person like someone has said, if you hadn't read the books, you probably don't know, and I haven't read the books, and I don't even remember
of making the movie, so I don't have to read the books.
Exactly, yeah.
Because I don't have the time to read the books. I just want to see, like, I don't want to have source material to understand a movie.
Right.
Like, at that point, it's like I could just read the book and do a way better job of imagining these things in my head.
When it's like I think they tied it up. So the basic story is they need spice for space travel and power.
Yeah.
That's what the other people need spice for. The Freemen, they use spice. Fremen use spice to free their mind. They use it like acid, and they're all a little crazy. They're a religious cult.
Yeah.
And Paul was unaware of his part in this. He knew his part in this, but he didn't accept his part in this.
No.
Until he come under the influence of the life water.
Yeah, the blue goo.
Yeah, the water of life or whatever.
The vomit from the worms.
Which corrupted his mind, I think. We'll see. Just like it did his mom. And then he had to leave his girl. He had to give up love. I think that's his vision. So he's seen a vision that they never showed us of how to win this war. And I think the vision was that he had to give up his love, like Christopher Walken told him at the end. Your dad was weak because he led
by love,
And it's like I think he's seen that he had to let that go in order to win this war.
Yeah,
but I think it's still yet to be determined how he ends up.
for me, it was just one of those things where, don't get me wrong, I sat and watched the whole thing in one sitting. I was like, because the
Yeah.
girl was like, dude, you got 3 hours to watch. You're not going to sit through this. And I was like, I'm probably not. But I was just like, I was waiting. I was waiting and I was waiting and I was waiting because I was waiting for, like, in the first one, they had those little audio things, and they would blow shit up. And I was like, that's cool. When is that shit going to happen? And then for a minute there, I thought it was when Thanos was like, hey, I've got all, and it's like, wait, so they transported all their big guns to this desert wasteland? Why would they have done that? That makes no sense. Like,
Dude, well, I mean, listen,
stupid.
Batista. We got Batista, okay?
Oh, and then Batista turns out to be a bitch.
He did, dude.
Which,
Batista went down so quick.
yeah. And I'm like, well, okay, so like in the first one, I mean, there again, I don't know if that was him in the book, but in the movie, it was like, damn, that guy, like, what was wrong with him? It's just terrible. And I like the scene, like, of their home world where he's like having to fight.
Yeah.
And like, it's all like, I get their whole little pale excuse for an existence, and it's just a weird group of people.
Yeah.
And then to come to find out, like, his mom is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, her mind was corrupt long before this ever happened. So,
which he knew that. He knew that.
Yeah.
But he knew that, but he didn't know that.
Right, because, well, there again, he had to connect to the spice.
Yeah, and then once he did, that's what, believe it or not, Cassie actually got into this movie. She didn't even watch part one.
Right.
And I'm trying to explain to her, and I was like, well, listen, like, I barely have a grasp of what's going on, but this is what I think's going on. And she's like, well, why are the eyes blue? And like, well, that's easy, the spice.
Right.
That's why that particular one, and she's like, well, they use spice for. They use it for power, essentially.
But they live in the desert with the spice, so they just breathe this shit in on a daily.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just normal. So these guys work in these guys work in the opium den.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they're just high constantly.
Yeah.
So to them, that's the norm. It's like, okay, well, there you go.
Well, then of course you had to see the matchup at the end. You knew that was going to happen.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that happens in the other one where he splits his chest open with the whole "ha!" and shit. In there again,
that's the one part I don't know. What is the Dune? Like, when he says the scene, and they finally like, oh shit, he's like the Dune. When he comes in there, he's like, he's not what they call him,
Muad'Dib.
Yeah, Muad'Dib. He's not Muad'Dib. He's something else now. And they're like, oh shit, we're gonna kill him. And then he's like, then he says something about Dune. So what is the Dune? Like, what
gesture?
Yeah, somebody tell me, because that's the one. Like, I feel like I have a grasp on the story, but I don't know the lore of the Dune. What is the Dune?
So the Bene Gesserits had pushed them into it. Yeah. So in there again, that's the other thing too, is like these little evil women that were walking around. They're the ones that have set this whole thing in motion.
Right.
And I really think they did a bad job of conveying, like, the craziness of those women. Like, I don't think they spent enough time. Like, there was time that we could have spent understanding them better. And I missed, like, the big worms, like the whole traveling thing and the whole like I like, they's like, hey, let's just take the whole fleet and go. And we know that's not how it worked.
Right.
Because they needed the big transportation wormy thingies that, the whole little weird guys that were like, and they could fold space and time. We got to see none of that stuff. Dune is named the desert planet Arrakis. Right, I know, but what did, like...
Yeah, like, when he says it in that context, what makes them change their mind? That's the only part that I'm left, like, I don't understand.
Well, that's the only part, huh?
Well, I feel like I understand everything else from the context of the movie only, not in the earlier movie or any of the books.
Yeah.
But you see, they ended off in a, not Game of Thrones, but what's that? What the hell show was I watching about the dragons? It's a spinoff.
Game of Thrones.
But it was a spinoff, though.
Well, it's still Game of Thrones.
House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon is
how they ended on war. That's what's happening in Dune. Like, holy war is in full effect now.
Yeah, it's coming. So, And I thought it was funny because the Fremen are all just like, get to the ships, and we're like,
yeah, like
wait a minute, you guys lived in rocks like 5 minutes ago, and now it's get to the ships. Like,
yeah.
was there a school where they teach you if we ever get out of these rocks, here's how you fly a ship? Like,
Exactly.
yeah, did I miss that class? I'm assuming I missed that class because I mean they
Yeah.
lived in rocks, right? And now they're going to take off and go fight. And what are they going to do when they fly up in there? Where are they going?
Yeah.
Like,
What they still have?
I know how to work the turbo batteries. You know, pew pew pew.
They still have all the nukes basically.
Yeah, we got all the nukes. I got that, but it's
not like they were just there for a threat. It was a red herring, basically.
Yeah, I mean, well, they shot the 3 of them off in the beginning,
right?
You know, that was like that was the start of the war.
But they didn't even do that much damn damage, to be honest with you.
No, it was pitiful. It was like, these are weak ass nukes, bro.
Yeah, like why didn't you just shoot the place? Like the main.
Dude, those were like cruise missiles, man. Yeah. They didn't do shit. Like you got some low ass yield nukes, bro. Like that planet would have cracked in half if that would have been one of our nukes. I mean, fucking hey.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because the spice comes from the remains of the huge worms. The water of life comes from the baby worms. Okay, I got I got that. I just
and it does seem it all in that place, Arrakis, it all revolves around the worms.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, and they want to they want to, you know, make the island oasis, like take all the water and turn it back into a green place. But I'm assuming that can't happen because the worms probably killed it in the first place, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I just see spice not being or either that or just mining the planet is what's killed it.
Yeah.
I don't know. The whole thing is like, there again, you know, spice is life. Life is travel. Okay, that's it. We're not going to get any deeper than that on this one.
Like, y'all could make a pretty good life here without this shit.
Okay.
Let's figure out a source of water. That's basically what you need to start growing shit. And then,
yeah.
Like, what are they eating? Like, did it ever show what they ate?
No.
It was just like
they're eating the ticks or something. Who knows?
Yeah,
I mean, you know, it's like,
yeah.
Okay, the planet is dry because the worms made the water all go deep into the planet. Oh yeah, so the worms are assholes. All right, so I mean,
so they just need to invest in some drilling rigs.
I mean, or just plant on the rocks. I mean, it seems like that. You know, they have all these areas where the worms can't go. Let's just plant there, right?
Yeah.
You know, then the baby worms will come. Ooh, and they'll get the bow-legged, worm wrestler to come and kill the worm and stick the tube down its throat and extract the blue goo. Like, okay.
Yeah. Well, I like the IEDs basically that they put in the ground.
Oh, the boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, that was
thumpers.
Yeah, that was kind of.
Yeah. I always like those in the first movie. I like the new micro LEDs. They're like pantyhose containers that just bounce up and down. You know, it's like okay, like ultra. All right, cool. And they make, and it's like he's pounding on the ground. You know, you gotta go deeper. You gotta go. Oh, and he's like boom, boom. Oh yeah, because his fist. Oh yeah, the echo. Sure.
What is he hitting, by the way?
Oh no.
I thought I was like rock wouldn't sound like that.
So okay, so do you think maybe the aliens in A Quiet Place are coming from the Dune worms?
Maybe.
It's like, hey, what if we made the Dune worms like scary alien people, and if you made any noise, they'd come to them. So it's okay, yeah, be like the Dune worms. Yeah, good call. Let's do that. Yeah, and they're indestructible no matter what you do. Sounds good. Quiet Place. Yeah, it's gonna be a great movie because I mean you can't kill a worm, right? Because they're so big. Fucking worms show up and it's like, let's ride the worms.
Dude, the best one is where they use it at the beginning to essentially bury the bodies, but it's just a worm under there.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, where the hell because all the rest of them make a big mess when they come there.
Yeah.
He set this one up and he's just there. He's like, oh yeah, like
yeah. It's the Sarlacc pit from Star Wars.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah, I just want to eat the thumper. How does that pass through your colon there, dude? Okay, the worms just eat everything.
when he was, and they were taking water. Were they taking their blood? Or they were extracting water from the other people.
Yes, they extract all the liquid out of them.
Yeah.
It was pretty gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like. Let's be honest. The lack of rain wasn't the reason why you want to live there. It's just the place is crazy, and everyone there is crazy.
And the religious fanatics.
You know, you have religious fanatics on one side, and then you have sadists on the other.
Right.
Okay, and some fat guy that floats around with the whole little Star Wars probe droid thingy behind it with tubes.
Dude, I forgot he wasn't the main character because he gives main character energy until Christopher Walken like slaps him down basically, or gets someone to slap him down.
Yeah. And there again, the whole I don't know, man. I wanted to enjoy it, and there were certain aspects of it that were like, okay.
If you think about it too much, it's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was like, okay, you know, it was cool stuff, you know, lots of special effects, and you good? Okay. Did you want something?
What are you talking about?
Dune 2.
Whoa. That was your movie?
Yeah, you went to bed because it was that exciting.
I was showing my outfit because he asked me when I wear to work.
Oh, there you go. Everyone wants to see that. Haley's stealing the show as always.
Yeah. Do you have time to explain the whole Dune plot to us, Haley?
I didn't watch it.
Dude,
I can tell you what happened in my dream.
Yeah, dude, they dipped, man. They were like...
The first one I heard was awful. Was the second one just as awful or worse?
It was fantastic.
And Zendaya was only in it for like a minute.
What's that?
Zendaya was only in it for like a minute.
I don't know. Yeah, no, she was all in it. What are you talking about?
Yeah, she was through the whole way.
She was the main person.
She was a badass.
Yeah, she's the whole reason why. Like, yeah, actually, she was. That was almost like, let's just take the kid out and let's just put the
Zendaya in there. Zendaya was a badass, no doubt.
Yeah.
Was Timothy in it?
Who's Timothy?
He's the wimp, Paul. Timothy.
Oh, yeah, he's the other star. It's the two of them. Yeah. Maybe watch the movie. Go do that now. 3 hours.
It's probably worse than a Western.
It is a Western.
It is?
Yeah, totally. They all wear cowboy hats.
It's a freaking
and they're in the desert. They got horses. Giddy up.
Get out of here. I saved you some cookies.
Thank you.
Dumb.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the two badasses were not Timothy Chalamet. Were not the bald, freaky-looking dude, his cousin.
Yeah.
It was Zendaya and Gruner, the dude that killed Batista.
Oh.
That he was just literally running.
Yeah, Thanos. Yeah.
He was running through people.
Oh yeah. Well, he was pissed. You know, they killed his king. You know.
Yeah.
I don't think they really explained much detail for. I don't think they explained much. I think it was just this shitty love story in the desert.
Yeah.
That killed the whole. That's what killed it for me because it was a shitty love scene. This love. I don't want to see that. I want to see Game of Thrones shit. I want to see like world making crap. Like, dude, this was not a book. This was a series. This was a whole universe. This could have been freaking awesome. We have the technology to make a good version of Dune, and we got this instead.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't care about either one of these two people.
I think they it's almost like they made it too grand and too narrow at the same time.
Okay, so the Brits made a 2-part TV series that did the best job of explaining the plot in detail. Well, apparently I need to watch that. It was probably from the 80s or late 90s, so it's probably crap.
Wow.
Yeah. I fast forward a lot. Yeah, and there again, that was the thing. It's 3 hours long. Yeah. Explain some shit.
It was too long, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, listen. You know, I think it was a disappointment. Was it fun to watch? No. It's 3 hours of like get to the point.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
I got wrapped up in the story trying to learn what's going on with Dune. So I liked it, but I would not recommend it to somebody.
No, it was like, thank
Yeah.
God it's over. Now, changing tracks, I did get to watch the Iron Claw.
Oh, okay. What'd you think about the Iron Claw?
I thought it sucked more than Dune.
Really? Oh man.
All right, so here's what happened. Let me explain. Let me explain what's going on here. So it was Sunday night, Monday night, whatever. Monday night, we all got back early, and I watched some really crappy C movie called like Relentless or Ruthless or some really cheesy movie that I was like, oh, I kind of want to watch this. It was on like Paramount or some shit like that. So it was terrible. It was a terrible movie, and I'm like, I was getting ready to end, and the girl's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, I'm gonna stop watching it. Did you ask? We're watching it. I'm like, really? You guys are watching this? I literally fast forward 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Didn't even notice. Didn't even notice. Okay, that's how bad this movie was. Yeah, we got to the end, and it was a terrible ending. And I was like, oh, there you go. All right, cool. And so I was like, let's watch something. And I'm gonna flip through, and I said, well, Iron Claw, and everyone's like, oh yeah, let's watch that because it's got, whatever High School Musical dipshit in it. It's like, sure, Hi-Fi said it was pretty good.
Yeah.
So we proceeded to start watching that, and at about the 20-minute mark, I got my phone out, and I'm scrolling through anything at this point of desperation. And they're watching it, and then it's like I finally get to the point where I was like, I got to do some research on this shit because
that's what I did when I was watching it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I feel like they're not ever going to get there. Yeah, shit, right? It's a brain sucker. What's it doing? Starving. So, dude, it's the saddest family in the world. Like, how could you feel like this was not the feel-good movie?
Dude, the coldest part is like it's a real story.
Yeah, and it sucks. Oh my god!
I thought of it not as a movie for entertainment, but more like a documentary of a very sad family.
No, very sad family, and very. But so the reason why a documentary didn't work for me was because clearly they were jading the fuck out of the story.
Yeah.
And they glazed over so much shit. Like there's a whole nother kid that they just wrote out of the script.
Mm-hmm. The baby, the one that died.
No. There's a whole nother son that was there wasn't.
The one that didn't ever wrestle.
No, he did wrestle, but he had like, the glass disease to where his bones would just break.
Yeah.
And so he ends up like committing suicide at another.
He was pretty early though.
Yeah. So, but there again, it was like, so they just kind of combined like things, and I was like, really? And then like the dude that lost his foot that went on to wrestle and was very successful, like he had world championships and all this other crap. He was married and had kids. And like he was a big deal for a long time in the WWF.
Who also he's the one that killed himself as well.
Yes, he killed himself also.
Yeah, they just got him off earlier than real life.
Yeah, it was kind of stupid.
Yeah.
So, and then the one that went off and died in Japan, there's mystery around that one because they think he might have also overdosed.
Right.
And then you had the younger one that was the musician. That was the one they combined with the other one because like he dislocated or broke his shoulder or whatever, and that it was all bullshit. And so like now everyone has to like do research while we're watching this movie because they're all like, what is real, what is fake, what is going on? And I'm just like, the Zac Efron character was like, he was the mook.
Oh yeah, dude, and the way I don't know if the true character was like this, but the way he played it, he was incredibly dumb.
Yes.
If
he was the mook.
Yeah, and it's like,
but he clearly wasn't because he took over the father's business, figured out the books, and was like, "You've been lying to me this whole time." And sells the company, makes money, and buys a house. So,
and he's the only one surviving out of the brothers.
Yeah. And he did get a world championship.
Yeah.
So I mean, he won it. They never talk about that. I was like, all right, so you guys are making this guy out to be like he's the guy, and you're kind of mooking him up, but in the end, you're like, he's human and all this. He got the belt. Show us the fucking time he wins the belt. Like,
yeah,
how dumb is that? Like,
yeah,
like they make the one like he won the belt. It was like, and like they went through and showed how he got passed over, and like, his dad, dude. The scene where his dad was like, he's my favorite because he's going to the Olympics, but my next favorite is him. But it's always changing. It's always changing, and then he tried to blame. And there again, whether it was, and I'm assuming this is one of those things where they took a lot of liberties, but like just to make the dad look like such a bag of shit.
Dude, the way this, like, whether it's true or not, like in this movie, that dad only cared about his legacy because he never got the belt, and that was his most important thing, like his legacy, and he didn't give a shit what happened to them kids.
No, figure it out. Boys can take care of the boys.
Like the one that survived cared more about all his brothers than his dad at all.
Yeah, and that was the scene where like the guy shoots himself. He's like, "I told you," and he's like, "That's your fault." And he's like, "No, it's not my fault. I told you to fucking watch him. You boys, you boys handle your own shit." And it's like, what?
Exactly.
I mean, you're like it. Like, yeah, that guy was like, oh man, that whole family was just like so weird and dumb, and the funny thing, so I love the ending where it was like he's still alive, he has a big piece of property and everyone lives there. And it's like he loves, there again, his version of what family should be, and he's not a dick like his dad apparently.
That was his dream. Like, it was like he wanted a big place, he wanted all his brothers to live there.
Like, it was like
that's what he loved more than anything in the world was his brothers. So
and that's what he lost.
Yeah, he lost every one of them.
He lost all his brothers. Like, oh my god, And the one part that I thought was super cheesy was when he's like after he kills himself and they cut away to that sequence.
Yeah,
and I was like, wait, what the? No, what?
Yeah, that was cheesy. That was extra.
Like, why did anybody agree to this? This is so dumb. Like,
meet the little boy brother.
Yeah, it's like, wait, no, like, why would you? This whole thing,
dude. The little boy that died at like 5 or 6 years old. That is sad as shit.
Yeah,
because they said he was walking by, rubbing his hand on a trailer, and touched exposed wiring.
He got electrocuted.
And he died that way.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
No.
Man.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
and then as a dad, like if that happens to you as a dad, and then you go on to treat your other kids like shit the rest of, like, you're just not. I mean, this is probably all fiction. I don't know. I don't know what's real or what's not, but in the frame of the movie, the dad's the biggest piece of shit ever.
For sure. And that was, but I'm watching and I'm just going, when is this going to end?
Yeah.
And then that, the little boat scene where he's like, I have both my feet now. And I'm like, wait, what the frick? No, who said that? What editor said we should keep this? This is solid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, and that scene was even shot weird because they're like, he asked if the brother was there and they're like, yeah. And they turn around, there's this little kid. And it's like, why would it be anything other than a little kid? And it was like,
hey, big brother.
Yeah, and they seemed like, reluctant to tell him, like, yeah, this little kid's been following us around, we're like, okay, well, why wouldn't he? I mean, he's your brother. You guys didn't age, so why would he have aged? I mean, he's dead,
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So that whole that part of it should have just been, and something else should have been put there.
Dude, what I will say is that kid, the one that with the foot, so he played in Shameless, can't think of his name, but him and Zac Efron got freaking yoked to play this. My God, they like changed their whole bodies.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Them dudes were they were thick boys.
Oh yeah. He put a lot on to do that for sure. And it was because I mean Zac Efron has always been ripped.
Yeah,
but not that beefy for sure.
Yeah, not so bulky.
Yeah, he looks stupid.
Yeah, he looks stupid and he talks stupid, and I don't know if that was the intent. That's what I told him to do. But he seemed slightly mentally challenged.
Because they're just selling Ricky Stenicki. He was perfectly fine in that movie. You know,
Yeah.
you know, he was like a genius in that movie.
He was like,
compared to this.
he was normal size for him and
Yeah.
smart like
Yeah.
he is. He's a pretty quick guy, but
Yeah, I mean this movie's like
it makes shades of like Lou Ferrigno, like his voice, the way he spoke, his size, even though he's way shorter than Lou Ferrigno, but
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, it was weird. The whole thing was weird, and I don't know. It's like it was definitely not the feel good movie of. And it's funny too now because you have the Iron Claw, and then you had the wrestler that had Mickey Short in it, or Mickey Rourke.
Yeah,
And that movie made you feel like crap.
yeah,
And then this movie made you feel like crap. I mean, they have the Hulk Hogan story that's going to be coming out at some point. That was Hemsworth's shot.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, he bulked up to do that. So at some point, that movie's coming out.
Really, the worst thing that happened in Hulk Hogan's story is the sex tape that got leaked.
Oh, from Bubba the Love Sponge, our DJ down here. Yeah,
right. Yeah.
That was his wife. Oh, that was all over the shit down here because these idiots all lived here in Clearwater. So,
well, it's like that's the. It's not great, right? I'm not gonna, but in the spectrum of bad things that people have done, like yes, he cheated on his wife and all this stuff, but
no, he didn't cheat on his wife because they weren't even married at the time.
Oh, they weren't. So it was
it
was just a scandal that he was.
Yeah. It was just a scandal because Bubba's wife was, Bubba was a pervert, and so Bubba wanted to watch his wife had sex with Hogan, and Hogan was like, "Sure, why not?" And then it got recorded, and then it got Bubba gave it to,
Gizmodo,
which was fucked up because like Bubba and Hogan were like best friends,
right? Yeah,
but there again, Bubba's always been this like fucking idiot, that doesn't like his whole first part of his career was. Like he started on what was called the Power Pig, and he was the yo, what's up? This Bubba the Love Sponge coming to you from, and literally he would always say that, wow, and it was all about pop and shit like that. And then he turned into the talk show guy. The station just switched it, and he was just morning talk and no music, and like he was always like, I kicked the shit out of Howard Stern, and then he got on Sirius. He was actually on Howard's channel.
Yeah.
And he fucked that up because he's like, they're not paying me enough. I can go off and do it on my own. But him and Howard became friends at that point. Like Howard was at his wedding and all this other bullshit.
Right.
And then the current talk show guy we have down here was Bubba's number 2. So there's a guy named Cowhead who's now named Mike Kelta. And, it's all this circle of ridiculousness. And in the end, it failed for everyone except for Kelta, and of course Hogan is like he's Hogan. So I mean the sex tape is not going to ruin him, but Bubba is the one that just flushed down the toilet. And I think he's still got like a radio network, where you can subscribe to BTLS or some shit like that. And it's like, what the frick, man, And he was the sucky thing was when he was on and not like trying to be like, anti-Howard or anything like that. He was a good DJ,
right?
He had a good solid morning show, but he thought controversy was the only thing that mattered as opposed to just good content, and so he had beef with another DJ that was here, that did morning talk, and the two of them, created like grief, and so they've sued each other, and it's like, holy shit, you guys all suck.
Well, it's like the whole Hogan thing. Once they got leaked, and it wasn't Gizmodo, but it was a company affiliated. Like, someone owned them. Gawker.
Yeah, and the guy that gave Hogan the money to fight it was
Peter Thiel.
The gay guy that was like pissed about Gawker leaking his secret.
Right. Yeah. Because he was a co-founder of PayPal, because that's where he got his money and several other things. So it's like it literally took down that media company. Like Gawker is no more because of all that. So I think it'll be an interesting story if they do it right.
I don't even know if that part of the story would even be relevant for like telling the whole story.
I have a feeling they'll focus on that. And not
I don't know, because I mean, like I've read Hogan's autobiography.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know. Big fan. And it's really good up to
all that.
all the way.
Yeah.
So to me, they could start young and work their way through it and have a really good, like, 80s Hogan, 80s and 90s Hogan is like the peak of Hogan. So if you start in the 70s and bring us up to the 90s, I think that's
the two things that I remember the most from Hulk Hogan is when he picked up and slammed
right.
No one's ever done that until that point.
Right.
And when he went to NWO, it was that was like life changing.
And I think that would be a great end to the movie.
Yeah.
I don't think you bring it up into the Gawker because at that point he wasn't relevant anymore.
But he was relevant in reality TV.
Well, yeah,
because they had to meet the Hogans or whatever the show was
right,
called.
but that had already all ended by then. So it had, like the whole his life spiraled out of control after Meet the Hogans. I mean, it was just she went nuts and he was along for the ride, and then like he found purpose. He started getting into some of the self-help guys. And he found a lot of purpose in that. And OJ's daughter, not OJ, Sugar Ray Leonard, I think his daughter or something was his co-host on the TV show that he was doing. Helped him a lot, and and then he found his second wife, younger girl, and they were married for a while.
Pretty much the same as the other one, but younger.
Yeah. And she was cool for him, and then that didn't last, and then he's got the new one. They just got married not too long ago.
I'll be interested to see because I feel like they're gonna focus. They may show the other stuff, but then they're just gonna be like, boom, the leaked sex tape, and they're gonna. I feel like that's what.
See, but that's not. But to me, that's not the fun part of it. I mean, that's that's the boring part of it. Like, because like the stories that he tells, like Running Wild back in the day, are way more interesting. I want to hear that shit.
Oh, me too. Like, I would rather hear the story, like how the lead up to body slamming Andre the Giant, like how that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you could end the movie when he body slams Andre the Giant.
Right. Yeah,
like, and then that's the high point right there.
If they showed the NWO and the New World Order shit, and then they brought it back to him coming back, that would be like, oh yeah.
But I think telling the story up to where he slammed Andre the Giant, is a good stopping point, and then you just have like a montage in the credits of like some of the like the NWO shit and some of his high point shits where you just pull clips of Hogan doing stuff. I think that would be a really good story about Hogan, because I think if you get into like the Vince McMahon lawsuits, for doing steroids and all that shit, I think it pulls. I think it pulls the movie down, But I'm sure they're gonna do it though because it's dumb, and why wouldn't they?
Right.
Because that was huge. That was way bigger than the sex tape scandal.
Yeah, at the time. Well, in my opinion, I think Hulk Hogan was, though there has not been a wrestler on the level of Hulk Hogan in popularity since Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
There's been a lot, like John Cena, The Rock. There's been a lot of huge ones.
Stone Cold. I mean, Stone Cold is still considered like one of the most popular wrestlers of all time.
Yeah.
But I think when you look back, you have Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan.
Well, I think Hogan, the same era, but like Hulk Hogan was like Ultimate Warrior had a small little window of 1 year.
He didn't work out.
He's just weird. But like Hulk Hogan was it. Like he was.
Well, there again, he took it in a whole nother direction, man. He brought it to the mainstream. He brought in TV cartoons and action figures, and he was the big push that just say your prayers, eat your vitamins. Red and yellow all the way. Like for sure, he's. In my mind, he will always be the pinnacle of the tip of the spear when it comes to that. There are plenty of people now that are fabulously popular because that's the machine that is that. You have I was when we were on our cruise, the people we go with, the son that was there, he's a freaking wrestling phenom. He loves that. They are like, and you know, he was talking about it, and like, I guess whoever's the guy now, he had just gotten defeated. You know, that was the big thing where like The Rock was on, and everyone, you know, and Cena and The Undertaker and all those guys came on for WrestleMania and helped whatever, some crazy shit go down. And he was telling me all about it. I'm like, okay. You know, and but there again, it's one of those, like, I look at that and I look at like it's like a soap opera, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, because it's a male soap opera that involves this,
That was
because
the best thing about them putting Ric Flair in that thing. Like Ric Flair, like, dude, I have a soft spot in my heart for Ric Flair. Like,
yeah, and the guy was terrible.
Yeah, it was terrible.
The guy,
He's like,
"Did you
I'm the
not
best
watch
dressed.
this?
Just like the way he would talk, like, I'm the best dressed. I smell good.
It sucked."
Yeah, it was just like,
It's like, you could have probably found anyone to do a better Ric Flair than that guy. Like that,
yeah.
like, and Ric Flair gives you so much material to copy. Like, you know, and it was like he just took all the basic shit and had none of the guy's character. It was like, oh my God, dude, like, how did you fuck that up?
Yeah.
Woo!
Woo, yeah.
Woo! You know?
Yeah, he would,
I got the Rolex watch. I got the car. I got the stretch limo out in the parking lot filled with the honeys.
Yeah.
I got the Gator shoes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Woo! You know?
That guy sucked, but like the real Ric Flair, awesome.
Oh, dude. I remember we were talking about him one day at work, and I was like, you don't know who Ric Flair is? I go, you know who Ric Flair is? And he goes, no. I said, dude, Ric Flair is the OG. Like, no one could cut a promo like Ric Flair.
Yeah,
like,
no doubt.
I said, Ric Flair is the benchmark of cutting promos. Like, if you want to learn how to cut a promo, you watched Ric Flair, because he was the guy. Like, there was guys before him and there's guys after him, but the guys that came after him learned, like Hogan and everybody learned from Ric Flair, because that guy could fucking cut a promo like it was nobody's business, you know? And I went on and I searched as, you know, Ric Flair promo, and, you know, and we watched that same promo that was in the movie, you know, where he's like, I got the limo, I got the jet, I just flew in on the jet. Yeah. Oh, I got money, you know, and you're just like,
I'm custom made for no one like me. Yeah, I love Ric Flair, man.
Yeah, I got the custom jacket. This is a $500 jacket, Jack. You know, you're just like, you know, you're like,
yeah,
you know, and then I go and I'll watch The Rock. You know, you know, nobody cares what you think.
Yeah, The Rock is like a sad copy of
oh yeah, all of them are. All of them are. I mean, you know, it's funny because it's like, you know, it's your gimmick. You have to have the gimmick. You know, Cena had his gimmick.
Yeah.
You know, and Stone Cold. You know, like I love the Stone Cold story, because it's like when he got like, dude, I can't wrestle anymore, man. My knees are shot. I'm done, bro. I'm done, Jack. You know, and he's like, so he would just go out after and he'd just smash beer cans and throw beer cans in the audience and drink beer. And it was like, that's why people loved him. And it was like, he didn't even have to wrestle anymore. He just had to go on stage and drink beer.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, holy shit, that's so cool. And he could literally go back now and do that. And everyone would be like, Stone Cold, you, Austin 316.
Austin 316, yeah.
You know, and it's like, but there again, it's that soap opera of like, you know, you could have watched it when I was a kid, had kids, had you know, and just the whole generation. It's like when Sue watches The Young and the Restless, I just sit there and laugh. I'm like, what the hell? Like, you know, and I remember like my grandmother used to watch General Hospital.
Oh god.
And it's still there, you know, and it's like, holy, how does this train just keep moving? And
well, the one I think my mom watched, The Days of Our Lives. That one was trash.
Yeah, no, you're right, Baba. I'm sure the writers have. I mean, there again, it's like, it also is the talent. Like, I mean, you have to think about it. Like, you know, there's always going to come a point where you run out of talent. You know, and you have to write better stories, and that's why you have these writers that come in and you know, I know was it Triple H and the daughter are running it now.
Yeah.
And there again, Triple H never struck me as somebody that was that creative, but apparently he's a great businessman. Yeah. So, you know, and you know, you listen to the guys that write it and you're just like, wow, those guys were the writers. Wow. crazy, you know. But it's a millions of dollars of business. It's probably $1 billion business at this point.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I don't think the stories were ever that great.
No.
Outside of, I really like the NWO thing was something different.
Well, dude, when they would crash cars and burn limos and beat each other up in the locker room, and it was freaking fabulous.
Well, and if you remember, like the NWO, I liked it because it crossed over. This was before WW. Was it E now?
Yeah, it's E. Yeah,
because you had WWF and then you had WW.
WAW or something.
Yeah, WCW.
Yeah, WCW. Yeah,
World Championship Wrestling. But they crossed, like NWO crossed that line between the two at some point. I was like, oh shit. I'm a kid. I'm like,
well, they all ended up at WCW, so it doesn't matter.
Right, because it was like we didn't know this was going on.
Yeah.
And like watching the movie, I forget what it was, where they kind of talk about, or maybe it's a documentary I've seen.
Probably
talk about all the business dealings behind the scenes, and you see what was really happening.
ECW was the best. Okay, that's cool.
No,
we did talk about the Iron Claw, Haley. Yes,
the Iron Claw has been talked about.
Yeah, we're moving on to the ridiculousness of wrestling. And there again, like yes, like I only watch wrestling because I like to watch Hogan, and then as Hogan was phased out, you had the Young Rock, you had the Stone Cold Steve Austin, you had the Goldbergs.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, and I had no idea what was going on in WWE. Because WWE was The Rock and Stone Cold, and everybody else was over on the WCW, and it was like, I don't know what the hell's going on here.
Well, I had to watch it. I got back into it when Kyle was of the age. Every boy at whatever
at some point has to watch it.
Like you're into wrestling forever. How long? It depends on how some people I grow faster than others, but it was the John Cena era, the rapping John Cena.
Yeah.
So we went to a couple of events. I honestly I had a blast.
Well, I mean that's the one that it's the definition of sports entertainment.
Yeah.
It's like the Pringles of chips. It's like, listen, we all know it's scripted. We all know it's fake, but we still got to put on a good show.
Yeah.
The only thing known is that like you're winning tonight. How we get there, it's anybody's game.
It's fun to be in the crowd, to boo the heels, cheer for your guy, and then there's people that cheer for the heels and boo the good guys. And it's
why not? You gotta, the bad guys need love too.
Exactly. So you just like it's fun. It's fun to go in person.
Yeah. Two of my favorite wrestlers were non-gimmick based, Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit. Yeah. So I did have the pleasure of working on 2 of Eddie Guerrero's cars because Batista bought 2 of Eddie Guerrero's cars.
Really?
Yeah. After he passed away, he bought 2 of his cars to give the family money, and so we did some repair work on them before, because it was just in the circle of shit that we had to do.
Right.
So we fixed 2 of the cars, which was they were like, one of them was an old school lowrider, all painted up Chico style. It was neat, had hydraulics and all that crap.
Well, didn't he start out as he was a luchador, wasn't he?
Hell if I know.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember Chris Benoit, but I don't remember why I remember him.
He killed his family and killed himself.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Really, it's a very depressing.
Yeah.
Tell me if I'm right, Bob. I think that's it. I think.
Yeah, shortly after Undertaker retired, we and honestly, like, so here's the funny thing. If you watch videos, like if you go on YouTube and you watch like current videos with Undertaker doing interviews, dude, that guy is great, man. He is freaking.
I haven't seen it.
Oh my God, they're so fun to watch. He's done a bunch of interviews now after the fact, and oh my God, he is so entertaining. Like, because he never talked, he was always
right,
and he'd do the whole eye roll thing and just like come out and kick ass and take names. There's another one where him and Mick Foley do. They both watch Hell in the Cell.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's freaking awesome because they both talk about like what was going on between the two of them.
Mick Foley, dude. I love Mick Foley too.
Oh yeah, and they talk about the whole thing, like, you know, when his tooth came through his cheek, and like that is awesome to watch. If you haven't watched the Hell in the Cell when they're watching it, it is totally worth the watch. It's the best way to watch Hell in the Cell. Like, and to this day, I guess that is still one of the best matches of all time. And they talk about all the shit that went wrong, and just like all the stupidity of it, and like how they just played through it. And you know, it's like Mick almost died, you know. But yeah, no, Undertaker is like one of the best guys to watch.
I'll check that out.
Yeah,
you watch Andre the Giant documentary? That was pretty good.
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, they're again, those are young kid heroes, you know, because those guys, you know, those were the young heroes, and then, you know, it turned into Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Right, yeah.
You know, who just also did a interview. The guy that does TMZ just interviewed both of them on Disney Plus for an hour together. They both sat down in the same room, and they talked about it. It was really cool. Like to hear, it was like an hour long, and they just kind of talked about some of the shit that, you know.
Well, back in the day, they were kind of.
Oh, totally. They talk all about that.
Yeah, like they were against each other, but I don't know that they ever. How often did they actually go out and say they were against each other during that?
No,
time?
but that's the whole reason for this. Yeah, oh yeah, dude. It's like the best hour. Like, watch it. It's on Disney Plus. It's Arnold and Sly sit down. TMZ guy does it. Yeah. It's fantastic. It's like, it's worth it. The only sucky thing about it is it was made for TV, so there's like commercial spots, but there's no commercials. Yeah. And so it's like, oh, this kind of sucks. But it's a really good interview. The two of them are because Arnold is they're both really well spoken. Like, nobody really gives Sylvester credit for being as smart as he is.
No, they're genius. Like, he's
a very smart guy. He's real creative. He wrote all those fucking movies. And like, I think in one of the TV, you know, when he does the thing with his daughters, they're like in his office, and he's like, you know, these are the things I'm most proud of. And it's like, you know, aside from the girls, and it's just all the movie scripts he's written are in these hardbound things, and it's like, holy shit.
Well, it's like a lot of people don't give Arnold Schwarzenegger, because of the way he sounds, the credit for being intelligent as he.
Well, yeah, it's like, and that was the cool thing about watching his documentary was, you know, you see the 3 phases of his life.
Yeah.
And he was literally the high point of every, like, I want to be the world's strongest. Not the world's strongest man. I want to be the Mr. Olympian. And he fucking did it. He's like, I want to be an actor. And he did it. He goes, I want to be the governor. And I did it. And like, before he became an actor, you find out he was already rich.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So before he became an actor, he was already rich because, you know, he knew that there was no money in bodybuilding.
Right.
So they had to do shit, you know. So he talks about, like, if you haven't watched that 3-part series on him, fuck, that is fantastic.
I wonder, Cassie might have watched that. I'll go, because she'll definitely. She loves Arnold. Yeah,
no, it was fantastic. Oh my god, like he talked. It's cut into 3 things. Like, the first part is the bodybuilding, and like him and his boy, like they laid bricks or some shit like that. Like, you know, because Franco, you know, was like, yeah, man, let's. So they were literally like building shit on the weekends to pay, and then they do bodybuilding exhibitions. And, you know, once he was like, dude, we got to do something. We got to make this more popular and make some real money doing this shit. And so money he was making, he was investing in real estate. So he was buying up California, you know. And so by the time he got to the high point of his career, you know, and decided he wanted to become an actor, he already had money. He didn't have to succeed in any of it. He was already rich.
Yeah.
So that's why becoming an actor was like, okay, he could spend the time to do it. Like, every step he had to take, he'd always find a way to put the time in to do it. Right. You know, which was crazy, you know. And then the governor, just, that was one of those perfect storms. You get to find out like how that all went down. And you get to hear the saucy part of it, where, you know, things he's not proud of, and he's an open book, man. It was a great interview. Oh, it was fantastic.
Well, I think when he was running, also Mary Carey was running, the porn star lady.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Like
that was
there was,
but they thought he was a joke, you know, at that
well,
time.
and then once they figured out he wasn't, then they went after him for like all his like, you know, when he was young, he was a flirt and he had sex with these women, and it's like, dude, he was a fucking 22-year-old goddess. Like,
Yeah,
like you're gonna
he was
you're
like
gonna have sex with everybody.
he was an Adonis, you know, like he had
Yeah.
the body that everyone wanted. So
Yeah.
what is every other guy gonna do? If you're not married, like
right, but then the bad part came in because it was like now it was, you know, it was just the beginning of the like Me Too woke style. It was that before that happened, you know, so it was like, you know, he had to go back and say, hey, look, man, I did some things I'm not proud of, but I mean, I was young, you know, that's what we all did. Like, give me a break. I mean, what the hell?
Well, I think they also, when he was going for governor, they thought he was gonna be a lot more liberal than he turned out to be.
Right.
He's pretty conservative on a lot of things, so that kind of threw him a little curveball.
Yeah, but so he talks about all that, and it's really it's a good 3-part interview for sure. Or, you know,
I'll have to check it out.
And he like, you know, because yeah, it's really cool. But honestly, the more fun one was him and Sly talking about it, because you know Sly is way more uptight than Arnold.
Yeah.
You know, at this point, Arnold's just happy to be here and like doing his shit, and you know, like I'm still alive.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, but all right, guys, that's it for the show. We went a little over. We're sorry. We haven't picked a movie because we're not going to be here next week.
Yeah.
So we'll just kind of play it by ear and see what happens. I'm sure over the course of the next 2 weeks, we'll have watched something and we'll just talk about that. Unless you run into something cool, email it to me or text me what it is and I'll watch it.
Yeah.
But that's all we got. You guys have a great night. We'll see you later next time.
See ya.
Bye.